Hello there, my name is Boże and I have over 5 years of experience in IT and I have spent over 12 months preparing people for Java coding interviews. Here's what you can expect out of a coding interview in 2024 and how to prepare for each of the stages. So the first step in your interview process is going to be an online test. With more and more people getting into programming, tech companies had to find a way to just get rid of people that entirely don't know what they're doing and get people that do know what they're doing. During this test, you can expect for it to take from 30 to even 120 minutes, so up to 2 hours. And during the test, what you will be presented with is either a lead code step question, some sort of a code to debug, so find a problem, find why something doesn't work, or be presented with wrong input and try to put it into a right input and find the bug within the code. So that's why also you need to learn how to use the debugger and how to make best practices with it. Or you can even be tasked with coding something, some sort of a small functionality to try and really find out whether you can even structure your code well and write clean, well-written code. In here, it is not the most important to make it as fast as possible, but it is important to get the highest score as possible, because nowadays, anything below 90% is going to not be enough for the second stage that we will be talking about shortly. What is the best practice for it and how can you prepare? First of all, keep in mind that your screen is going to be most likely recorded. Even if they don't explicitly say so, go into the interview or rather the test with this in mind. Don't try to alt-tab or do anything during the test that would invalidate this. Second of all, of course, you need to do a lot of theoretical questions, a lot of lead code, and a lot of those small tasks that are not really necessary for day-to-day job, but are necessary to get through this initial level of interview process. This isn't something that you will need to be doing when you move forward, right? When you become a mid, a senior, or anything like that. Those tests are no longer a thing. It is just something that is happening for the entry-level positions in IT. However, if you do enough tasks, you will develop sort of a memory for them, not how to do them exactly and remember every single task, but rather how to solve the problems. And that is exactly what is being tested here. So make sure that you get a lot of practice in, and then try to ace your test as best as you can. The second step is actually a breather for you. It's an HR date, as I like to call it. And what is happening during the HR date? You will get a call with somebody from the HR that will just ask you some basic questions about your expectations, experience, college, or anything else in between in your resume to make sure that first of all you weren't lying and to get to know you a little bit. And for this part, my best actual advice that I can give you from my experience that has worked is just be yourself and just be human. It really is hard to fail this because this is more of a, yeah, you passed and this is what are the next steps kind of thing, rather than something that is really, really a test. So just don't worry, relax and prepare for the next step. So the third step is the technical interview, the most important part of the process. And what can you expect out of it? First of all, it is most likely to be done by people you will be working with. So try to make a good impression upon them, because they will not only be testing your technical skills, because actually they come in second. What is most important, it will be a test of your communication, problem solving, and team fit. And the last one you can't really do much about because you don't really know the team yet, but the communication, that is the thing that you need to work, I think, the most for a lot of people that have been coming to me and I've been teaching them how to code and how to get into programming. One of their biggest drawbacks actually has been not knowing how to communicate enough. But we will talk about that in a second. Most likely, you will be presented with a problem, can be a lead code question again, but here you get more anxiety, more stress, you get people watching your hands, and it can be really, really harder than just doing this in front of a computer by your own. Or, more likely, you will be presented with designing or writing a small program during which you need to solve a small specific function or a feature, right? For example, just this particular company that you are with. So depending on the theme of the company, it can change, but here it is just creating and designing some part of code. So how to best prepare for the most important part of the interview? First of all, is learning how to speak out loud about your solution. The interviewers have no clue what is going on inside your head. You need to let them know, why do you think something would be right? And you need to ask them, is that correct within this exercise? Because if somebody gives you an exercise of trying to sort an array and you don't ask about the size, then of course there will be edge cases. So getting to know what is the scope of the problem, getting to know how to solve this, and presenting this to the interviewer is the recipe for your success. Two of the most common mistakes that are happening during the interview. First of them is people just getting to coding right away, not asking any questions and taking the exercise with face value. Because sorting an array of numbers is very, very easy in theory, but if somebody tells you that this array is the maximum size of the array, then you will get, for example, overflow or underflow. So you need to ask about the boundaries of the exercise you are working with. So don't get into a trap of writing the code first. The second trap is actually knowing what to do and just writing out the code. This is not the way. You are not being tested on being able to solve this exercise. I mean, you are, but not in a sense that you can just copy and paste the solution from your head. The more important thing is for you to be able to actually do the problem and think this through. Because what is important is your problem-solving skills, not your copy and paste skills. Those come in later. When you become a senior, then you just copy and paste. Of course, a joke. But please do remember, even if you know the answer to the exercise, make sure that you walk the interviewer through the process before you go and just copy and paste the code from your head, because this is not the way to go. Then there are some easier things for you to remember. Don't get overwhelmed by stress, and remember 3 rules of programming. Make it work, make it pretty, make it fast. In a lot of cases, you won't get past the stage 1, because making it pretty is wasting your time at this point in stage during the interview, so just make it work. It doesn't have to be super pretty. It can be ugly, as long as it does the thing. Then, dress nicely and speak loudly and clearly, because I know that you're scared. I know that there's a lot of anxiety going into this, especially if you have been going into the interview with hundreds of resumes sent out and you're just stressed out that this one opportunity will slip out. To combat this, just ask a friend or a family member to do a mock interview with you. Sounds stupid, but it really does work, and it gets a lot of stress and anxiety out of the way. So just a pro tip for you to get through the stress. So those are all the steps of an interview process in 2024. I'm hoping that you can prepare the best for this, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck in your journey to become a Java software engineer.